Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with another episode of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 9.11. And if you made it through to the end of the last episode, you know we had a crash. And that crash happened because I clicked either pause or unpause, right when it was going to the save. And give it too much stuff to do as it starts to save, it'll crash. Just letting you know, it's happened to me before. How do I put this? Not that I don't mind, because I had to replay and whatnot, but as long as I can sort of figure out why something crashes, know the cause of it, know if there's a fix, well, part of the fix would be to go back to Windows 7. Part of the fix is to have slightly more stable version of all the mods, because that contributes to it. It's sort of multiple things contribute to it, but it's not a specific random we don't know why it happens. You just avoid doing it, won't happen. Obviously the more, because you can have it do weekly saves, the more you have it save, the more likely it's to happen, but it's also the more likely that you'll have a recent save to go back to. So just keep that in mind. So things will look a little different. I think it was on the 28th, about there, before, when we had the and so I made a couple of smarter choices, just knowing what was going to come up in the next few minutes, as it were. So I made the smarter choices. Is it cheating? I don't think so. I had to go back and replay. We're going to set up and have, hopefully, I think I want to have this with that. The hours up in the corner as I'm anticipating this save will come on the the 30th or something. I don't know, but soon as. Oh, and we've gotten rid of that. Was over here the other Totenkopf division went away when I guess we can put it back here, when I accepted the upgrade of the Totenkopf division here. So we still have two, and we've got Bach back in charge of that one instead of the one that's over here, right here, as you can see. So we have still one in the east and one in the west, but it claimed one of them, which is as it should. Oh, division shattered. That was the one. No, not that one. Not the best thing. Okay, well, you can support that attack. This one, oh, this one this time. It was about to. I was hoping the reinforcements would get there. That's right, I think we should start that. Big stack of units. Use on that flank, use on that flank. You are. Oh. Probably don't know where Dushko is. It's Shattered Town, I know where that is. Santiago, Chile, but oh well. Don't know which one of these. Was it one of these or one up in the north? Okay, army group. Yeah, that happened last time. They're still way in the red. Oh, let's move a couple of these up to the top, make sure they're getting researched. Might as well have the things that are more likely to happen sooner than later researched. Okay, well, you can support that attack. And one here, and Erotica coming this way. Battle of Grozny, we made sure we held it this time. Oh, you gotta go that way, so you go this way. Where are you gonna put supplies? Where are you gonna put supplies? You shouldn't be. There we go, you're waiting. Can you get to here? Yes, good. I'm flying supplies today. This is, as you can see here from these things, huge stacks of armor that, had it gotten out and been well organized, would have been a, well, we're seeing a bit of a headache. It is here, a bit of a headache here. And they've taken that profits as well. Yeah, we're just too rough trying to cross that river and attack. Okay, well, you join this attack and come this way. You push down this way. You, I think, no, just you. Let's come back that way. I don't know what they've done their thing. Okay, well. thing again. And that was naval. Stop that. Oh, let's do the 30th Flotilla Group. Yes, I'm good for one commander. We'll take that. Let's do the Leningrad Railroad Network. We now control enough of that territory up there. We control everything but Leningrad itself, and Leningrad, although we're likely to damage its, well, we can't see it, but it's nearly fully infrastructured out here. I guess it could go up 2 more, but we'll upgrade this here. Get this started. Will help our supplies move in that area. That. No use. No. Yeah, no. You. What is the attack there? The counterattack, or however. Oh, you need to retake this, and you need to move it. What is that? There we go. That was the moment we crashed last time. Let's technically see. You pound them a bit. You guys are just completely without supply. Okay, too far away. Oh, I guess comes in there. Monsoons start to clear. Finally, snowfall increases. So they say, time to dig in. No, we're going to continue to. So that might affect our battle here. Okay, well, I know I built this, but with the crash, I'm having to rebuild it. So, oh, I should have already moved it. Well, whatever. Guild Fortress Buster. We picked him last time, so we'll do that again. Now, holding down the wrong key helps to hold the right one. Okay, we made a mistake, didn't we here, guys? We can't move. Oh no, we can move somebody over. Okay, yeah, let's move that back to here. We don't need that. That's actually any tank and get rid of that. Move that. Yeah. HQ has the medium artillery. So we'll give them medium artillery instead of regular. That should help. Okay, guys. And you supply. No, okay, you can't supply there. You can supply here, yes. You supply there. You can supply up there, yes. No, air supply. Don't want to make that mistake again. No order, you should be applying up to here. Applying air supply. We'll move you down somewhere else, I guess. Let's see. Let's start this, but where's my? I have another big gun here. Isn't it here? Up here. There it is. Okay. And those guys will help out. They'll help out too. Okay. Okay, just where's each one of these units? Okay, you're down here and operating good. You're down there and operating good. I know we've done this before. You're there and doing important work. Good. You already can try and make sure we get supply going to the Moscow area. You're operating there. And your first leg of the air bridge. Okay, well, you're doing good, but let's shift you two there. Okay, you're going to be the one that goes to there, that's right. looks like. Let's go down, make sure we've got all, yep, we've got all of them operating. Okay, well, these guys are definitely been significantly rebuilt. Okay, we can work on that. They'll be there soon. That's who I want to add to the unit. Let's find that guy, maybe. Excuse me. He'll take over the division. That'll help with his Fortress Buster capabilities. And over here, yeah, we've already got. And our he's also a Fortress Buster. Good. Come on, bring him supplies. Go. Keep pushing. These guys can come into here to cut them off a little better. And you can just sort of hold there. Okay, a bunch of events as we said. Bira is dead, so that reduces their national unity. Okay, Volga-Tatar Legion. German Legion, okay. Was volunteer Wehrmacht unit composed of Muslim Volga Tatars, but also included other Abdul Ural people such as Baskirs, Chuvashirs, Mari people, Udmurt people, and Moldova. Okay, cool. We get another group. French volunteers against Bolshevism. Right. Against the French was officially known as German Infantry Regiment 638. Okay. Good. Pals of Adolf. That was, well, POH, or PO8, as spelled in Cyrillic is what they called them in, and they were occupying Channel Islands, so I sort of call them that. SS Sturm Brigade Rona. I guess that's Rona in Cyrillic. Also known as Volksheer Brigade Kaminsky, after its commander Boleslav Kaminsky. Rona stands for Russian People's Liberation Army. It had its origins in pro-German militia found in the regiment of Brigade Crushing. Okay. Yeah. It was intended to reform the brigade into the 29th Waffen SS, or Waffen 29th Waffen Grenadier Division der SS, of the SS. Again, not an SS unit really, but sort of, almost, kind of, but never was completed. The unit was found to be too unreliable and undisciplined, and his commanders were shot by the Germans. We could take this unit, or no. We're going to go no. I don't know why you're using whoever made this. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a really nice event image. But that's, what's his face? Sorry. I think we can spot it here. The guy in charge of the the Russian army in German pay, or however you want to call it. But so I just spot his picture. I forget his name. I'm pretty sure it starts. Well, pretty sure it starts with a V. So let's come down to here. He may already be. Yeah, Vasilov. That's him. That's him right there. Vasilov gets a lot of winner attributes because he's Russian. I don't know why you use him, because he doesn't really have that much of a connection to Kaminsky's group. Yeah, you probably recognize. I recognize Kaminsky if I saw his thing. His unit were just bandits. They would go in and do. I'm going to sort of avoid using the words because the Google algorithm scrubs the audio, and if you start using too many words, they may demonetize it. But basically do all kinds of bad things to people for just fun and pleasure and profit and stealing and pillaging and plundering, and sent into an area to do anti-partisan work. And just, if they didn't kill everybody, they definitely killed a lot of people and then stole stuff and whatnot. So they were just really bad, disgusting people. And like I say, the commanders were shot by the Germans. And you got to remember, this is an army in which, well, we did what, people, oh, well, we just did what we were ordered to. We were too afraid, so we committed war atrocity. Where you have very, very little of documentable evidence of German soldiers, German officers, SS officers, police officers, both basic regular officers and higher-ranking officers, refusing to commit war crimes, ever being seriously punished in the German Reich. Oh, well, I'm sure if you were an SS guy and you were told to liquidate a village and didn't do it, you were probably kicked out of the SS. I'm not saying there wasn't going to be consequences, but they didn't go around shooting people just because they didn't do what they were ordered to. Now, of course, if they really thought you did something treasonous, that's a different matter. But hey, the U.S. would do it to you if you did something, convicted of treason, So, and the British, would as well. So that's nothing special. And so, where like in the Soviets, the NKVD running around, if they thought you were, being a counter-revolutionary or something, boy, yeah, they'd shoot you. So we can clearly see that kind of behavior happening in the Soviet forces, but it's rare to see it in Germany. So that tells you that they were really, really a bad group. Schutzmannschaft in the Ukraine. Now these guys, generally speaking, like we've talked about before, didn't do too much indiscriminate, but boy, they did a lot of stuff. And I've seen some films of similar guys, not in Ukraine, but in the Baltic states. And I guess I'm going to maybe get this episode demonetized. Have little murder parties and sort of, just sort of, stabby. Woman runs over another direction, another guy sort of stabby, and in the middle of the street and things like that. Seen some film footage of Jews, of course. Some of these guys type stuff. So they had their murder parties, but they were sort of directed and not just complete banditry. So they were often doing the Nazis' work. So Ukrainian Schutzmannschaft, yes, and I was hoping these things would fire before the end, because I think we have to be at war with the Soviets. So an Italian Comando Suprema has information. The Allies conduct landings in North Africa anytime soon. Good to know. That's why I do have some units already down there. Here, I don't know if that's... we'll see. Deploy industry air wings to fill the ranks of the Reich to provide defensive measures for essential aircraft production facilities throughout the Reich. Test fly base of newly built fighter aircraft was utilized to form stab shoots or industrial air protection. These could take off in a moment's notice. Deploy the wing Air defense network gain. Okay, yeah, I hope that has no negative other than costing us supplies, which I'm fine with. Okay, German reinforcements to North Africa. The push Africa border to seize Egypt. To stall, the Ottoman prepared fully. Determined British resistance near Alamein. Decided to send Rommel yet another batch of precious and scarce specialized units to crush the British forces. And finally break through into Egypt. Yes. Now, I did go into... okay, so we have that flak division and Kampfgruppe Bushi. Go into, just really without looking at it much, go into the... is this Grenadier? It's partially air transportable, but not all. Okay. And remove the requirement for the British to be in control. I might think that's cheating. I look at it as we are sort of paying for these anyways, and we have a strong Mediterranean / Indian Ocean whatnot emphasis in this campaign. You know, obviously we're not fighting here, but they could have been dropped off here just as much as we're bringing down all of these guys to come, you know, other things. That's what I'm just looking at it as that way. SS recruitment drive in Norway to replace losses of more SS Western. Needed to convince them manpower, money, national. I'm gonna go no. I don't need to do this, I don't think. Don't need the manpower right now. Units of the Third Reich, 22nd Panzer Division. I know Alexei isn't working on this, or seemingly to anymore. I'm gonna have to take it. I really, really wish this was a decision so that I could sit here and wait until, you know, because we have like those Panzer Division upgrades. We'll do those someday once I no longer need them on the East Front. And no, I'm not going to cheat, but they're probably going to be a bit of a pain not having those. Did that put units in the production queue or on the map? Okay, there, it's on the map. We have a Panzer Division leader. Hopefully he didn't take... oh, he's under the inactive list, so that's specifically so they put him there. Okay, well... okay, we'll send them down here. I'm worried about that North Africa thing. And okay, we are looking at these. Okay, and see here we got all of these guys part of the Schutzmannschaft. Are they all just sitting here? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't that creative with its location. Well, revolt risk. Okay, well, let's, even though there's not much supplies going through there, let's send one up to there. Another one down here. Another one back here, so supplies coming through this area aren't disrupted. The more an area is in revolt risk, the more it disrupts supplies coming through it. So hopefully all that will help the flow of supplies as it's meant to. So yeah, these Schutzmannschaft units, obviously they are well, I guess they have the US police symbol there, but Volga Tartars. Ooh, that's cool. That's the... oh, that's nice. They did that cool. I like that. The headquarters, light infantry. Okay, well, I would sort of send you east to fight, but we're going to send you to defend France from an invasion. Oh, well, it's light infantry. Let's go help the colonials fight somewhere. Volga Tatarish, conscripts, okay. We'll send you to occupation duties. Yeah, attached. We got these guys here. These are a little better fighting militia type units. Okay. Ah, good. We've won there. We'll go here. Baroni, I've already talked about him. I do, yeah, I did in a previous episode about his complaints about killing her. He was another, like, bastard. Okay, Schutzmannschaft in Belarus. These are some of the best photos I could get, guys. I really did the best internet type searching for them. And as you can see, these guys, now he has a German jacket with a German Army eagle on it. These other Schutzmannschafts, they've got rifles, and I don't know, they may have, well, they may all have German Army coats under their civilian heavier coats because it's cold, you know, but they weren't necessarily the best equipped or uniformed. And now here we have Schutzmannschaft in Estonia, the 1st Auxiliary Police Battalions, numbered 29th through the 45th and the 50th. They were made up of national staff, including one German monitoring officer. Some of the battalions took part in various battles against the Soviets, such as Stalingrad, the 36th Battalion. And those look like 1910 Maxims, Soviet or Russian made. Well, a bunch of them, of course, were made before and during World War I. Continue to be used. So they're heavy equipment, at least. Oh, and those helmets are look World War I vintage to me. Also, those aren't World War II Stahl helms. Now they could be. Some of the Hungarians also sort of used that sort of older Stahl helm style. They could have come from another source than simply World War I stocks. But that's sort of to see. So these units, they were, you know, police, but they were also had some level of, as you can see, they're growing. So we have, we'll continue here. The 30th U-boat undersea boats flotilla. Yes, we'll take this. Oh, this is an interesting one. Was formed from the coastal submarines of Type 2Bs, which had been only used in training boats in the Baltic Sea in October after modernization. From May 42 onward in Kiel, the boats were put back into service on the 14th of October 1942 and were gradually transferred to the Black Sea, into the Black Sea to Constanza, down here. Or is it here? One of these? Yeah, here it is. It was one of their ports. The local patrols were directed against Soviet Black Sea Fleet, and according to official figures, a total of 26 ships were sunk with 45,000 gross registered tons. Okay, so this is from the D-Worms mods. This shows that production queue. Oh, it should have been on the Black Sea. Yeah, it's a. Okay, well, I don't know. I guess we can drop them obviously in one of these other ports, but I would have put them just here, just because you don't know. But obviously we have better things. Okay, fighter pilot school formed Nancy, okay, we could do that. Money, fuel, supplies, gain some officers, lose some manpower, training, okay. Yep, we'll take that. And the 27th Panzer Division, okay, now this one I don't, okay, with 3 regiments. No, we're going to go historical, we'll play the historical thing. 27th Panzer formed in October 1942 in southern Russia from Kampfgruppe Mikhailuk, formed elements of the 22nd Panzer Division fought. It was disbanded. Okay. With 1 Panzer Battalion and infantry regiment. Now we'll do the historic, because we're looking for historical stuff. See, I don't mind it when I'm not having a negative option choice. Okay, we have another inactive, but Panzer Commander, where are you? You're here. Okay, well, let's send you actually west and sort of south. Well, here, down here. Okay, these guys. Where are we here? Okay, we're all stacked there. Okay, now we have a lot up in Estonia. I think it'll be helpful to keep a couple of you up there. We'll send you out. Well, let's go all the way out here. Now, when they said that some of these units fought at, I think they said Leningrad. Did they, or did they say Stalingrad? They said Leningrad. That's very reasonable, because that was mostly just a containment operation, so you're not throwing in. I mean, they weren't like policemen with just a small 32 caliber pistol that are standing around, trying to issue tickets and break up domestic violence and guard a couple of factories from, a sabotage operation. So, yeah, there's a lot way out here we need. We'll probably be hitting an event that'll somehow contain this, but I'm just glad to be getting some of these to help control your territory. So as you can see, now remember, we have documented evidence that there were about 300,000 personnel in these Schutzmannschaft. Oh, bloody hell, that's back down to that. So, the numbers we're putting out there are pretty reasonable. They were, they don't cost much in the way of like production costs, because most of their equipment, like I say, they often, I think, did have pistols, because if you're going into somebody's house to search it, you don't want a bolt action rifle as your main weapon. Well, maybe you sort of do with a pokey bayonet on it, but beyond that, you really don't want that too much, because even then, if there's an event, something starts to go wrong, you get people can wrestle with you. Sure, you can try to poke them with a bayonet, you can try to club them with the butt, but if you're in tight quarters and somebody sort of does something, it's you're now in a wrestling match over the gun. Where a pistol, obviously you can wrestle over a pistol, but it's much shorter, quicker to get out, easier to point around. So they're very likely, and this is one thing you have to understand about Germany. Germany was in a desperate need for handguns. They used every single handgun they could put their hands on. Even more so than in World War I. I don't know if any of you watch Sea and Arsenal, the really great YouTube channel about World War I weapons, and they go into detail of all kinds of stuff. But Germany was just any pistol they could get their hands on, they wanted. And I mean that, just about literally any pistol they can get their hands on. And some of the stuff to me is still mystifying. I have a Walther PP, sort of like a PPK, but it's just a PP. So they're slightly bigger. It's Police Pistole, and then the K is Kurtz for short. The James Bond one is just slightly shorter. And I also have a modern one of those. But I have a Walther PP. I think, from the serial numbers, I think if I remember correctly, and this is, been years since I bought it and whatnot. And it looks like a gray lump. I have nice gun socks for my guns. These are basically sort of socks that keep things from rusting. So they all look like lumps in my gun safe. So I don't necessarily put my eyes on each one often. But I think from the serial number, I think it's like in around 43 production. And so, it was made by the Walther factory, mid to late-ish war. The outside isn't finished very well. You still see the machine grinds on it. But it's done in 32 caliber. And they come in either 32 or 380. And you're in the middle of a war. And Walther pistols are going to be used, that are being made, are going to be used for German units. They're Luftwaffe pilots, police, and other stuff. The one sort of identifiable police pistol that I have is another make. But it's sort of another odd story I'll get to some other day. But so so they were still producing them in 32 caliber, and of course the German army knows the 32 caliber isn't what you want to do for combat troops. Trust me, they know that. So this pistol is made during wartime, but not for combat troops, and for somebody who, even if you're like a pilot and we're bailing out of your aircraft and you're going to, try to do, survival behind the enemy lines, you're going to do a 32 caliber pistol? Maybe. More likely you're going to do a 380 because, again, you're wanting a small pistol. But even that's still very light, as many of you know. So these are like police pistols. And they're going to, police units, but they were any captured Soviet, any captured arsenal pistols anywhere, and oddball stuff that they captured factories, they kept them at a level of production. Sometimes for combat pistols, what I call the Radom, the Polish pistol. Now that one, they simplified over time, but was started out at 9mm and they continued to produce it. It sort of looks like a 9mm 1911 if you don't know what it is. And so that can be a combat pistol. It's a decent, And realize also when we talk about their desperate need for pistols is every MG 34 and MG 42 gunner out there, every guy in the infantry walking around with one of those guns should also have like a Luger or a Walther P38. I mean, that should be in their big sort of black clamshell holsters. It's the idea that if you are, you don't have your belts of ammo sort of set up and there's shooting going on to protect your machine gun, because that's a valuable machine gun. You don't want it, lost in combat, if you will, because you can't protect it. You have a pistol, a combat pistol. Again, you hope never to need that. It's not like part of the basic tactical doctrine, other than in an emergency. But so every MG34 they issue, theoretically, it doesn't always happen, of course, because we see their shortages. But every MG34 out there, and all the mainline units, and if you look at the photos carefully, you can often see the holster on the guys, should have a 9mm pistol. So this just tells you the great demand for pistols. Tank crewmen, they need pistols. Everybody needs pistols, and so with the security staff as well. So pistols were in great demand. So I'm sure all the Schutzmannschaft would love to have pistols. If they had them, they would use them. But they were also rifle equipped, and as we saw earlier, machine gun equipped. And not talking submachine guns, probably some of them too. But since a lot of those units weren't high combat activity, like they may be at the front lines, you know, manning part of the front on the Leningrad front that they're trying to starve the city out and maybe shooting there a bit. And those, of course, they may have been given German weapons for the rest of the time. Most of the guys, you know, they're sort of anti-partisan work. Mostly it's march around, and unless they're doing firing squad work, probably not shooting that much. So they can use Soviet-made rifles. And so they used a lot of that kind of stuff as well. So giving them fairly free units here is well within the historical basis. That's just sort of, I guess, my justification for what I'm doing and what's going on. Spain, give them money for fuel. No, I'm negative money right now. Take that out. Take those guys out. You support that. Move this way. Just some of the stuff that a lot of people don't really necessarily understand about Germany and what was going on. Don't know if any of you watches the Chieftain's Hatch or the Chieftain or whatever it's called. They sort of changed the name. Channel on YouTube. He's a researcher. Well, he's a serving a reserve U.S. Army tanker officer, but he also works for World of Tanks and doing research for World of Tanks, as he says, a very unrealistic game. But he does a lot of their research for them, and he also makes really cool videos on tanks and such. I like watching. I think I've watched them all. So I highly recommend them if you're interested in tanks and things. What was my... Oh, about he was at the German tank museum in Munster. And one of the goals of the... because he was talking to the director of the tank museum. One of the goals that the director has is to show all the German youth that often come in and are fascinated and, you know, are, oh, cool panzers and whatnot, and it's, you know, such a super mechanized army. One of his big goals is to show, teach that most of the German army at through all of the war was horse-drawn. I mean, of course, he has all the great exhibits of the panzers there, but he wants to talk about and teach how that they were a... no, you can actually leave that. We will kill you better. How they were very much still a horse-drawn army. And so, you know, people don't... Obviously, many of you who have been with me long enough here are really into this and already know this, but not everybody is. Okay, the Latvian Schutzmannschaft. So you can see the photos of them. And to the best of my knowledge, I'm pretty sure I got correct photos for those people, or at least what was identified as such on the interwebs. Okay, and the 26. Good, that doesn't take away from... Alright, let's go back and look at revolt risks a bit. Okay, well, since we're down here, we may get a Lithuanian unit soon. So obviously, if you want to, you can stack these greater depth than one deep here. And there are... No, I keep playing, so I want to go systematically this. There are reasons to do that. The bigger the defense or the suppression value of a unit like this, you know, it's as in like if you have 3 of them, the greater the range it bleeds out. But then of course if you spread them out, it can also sort of kind of do the same thing. So pick how you want to use them. Okay, no, you're out here. Okay, well, it tells me you're going to be, and you got pulled off of some other front. So there's some division without that. We also have one in the, yeah. Oh no, that's one I built. Uh-oh, major defeat. Where is that? This is up there. Okay. Oh, but we lost down here. Oh, here it is. Okay, well, you guys come in there. You guys cross into here. Don't become too complacent. They're defending, they're reinforcing. Okay, well, some of these have better supplies, and these are almost there. Well, let's kick this off. Let's put Guderian in charge of it. These guys should help. Not the transport unit. You're just cannon fodder to help overwhelm. And we'll get some more air units once we're done down here, which is hopefully very soon. The ones that we're flying here to try to fly up. Applies to more of these units up here. Okay, I guess I wanted to see. We can see massive amounts of these divisions. Proletariat divisions fully organized up. Not as badly as I hoped. Bunch of core HQs that have gone back to home once they've lost on the front. So, lots of stuff. Yeah. You just go there. We'll let him out and then we'll kill him. He goes outside of his zone there. Now we have plenty of fuel. Oh, that reminds me. I'm sending these guys out here. Okay. Get on board the ship. Yeah, get on board the ship. And you want to please get on board the ship. Okay, we're going to leave the other one there to occupy it. We're going to come down and pick up this guy and replace it with a occupation unit, garrison unit. And over here we have Dugan's group. I've added a mixed airborne support to him. Was thinking maybe I don't know his HQ or not. Let's see here. These guys have been stuck down here. Lack of fuel has kept my ships moving so slow, and I had more important things to do. Okay, you get on board. You get on board. Papa Hoth is going further south. You're going further south. You just got one more of these guys because there's two of them down there. Okay. Those I know I want further south, so let's come down to rebase down here. Because they'll move now at 23 miles an hour, but they'll move at, or kilometers per hour, obviously. But, we Americans want to talk miles, or knots, but, they'll move at 2 when we don't have fuel. Which sort of makes sense, but it's because of this damn stupid fuel things. Okay, we'll just cancel that, but yeah, we get better anti-aircraft armament. Yes, we'll do that. And since you're almost complete, we'll move you to the top. Get you some oil rigs built. The monthly outbreak of partisans here. Okay, you're still fighting, you're not, so you go into there. Are you fighting anybody now? No. You go there. We got rid of the communist revolt in Bulgaria. Okay, reinforcements are coming to you guys eventually here. Okay, you come down. Christ. You come down here. You come down here. Yeah, you come down there too. Might as well just take that province. You counter stroke there. Oh. No, you come here, here, here. There we go, that's what we want you to do. You attack up that way. You attack right that way with you. You come up that way. Now that we have enough forces here, and you'll be able to strike in 26 hours, so you start attacking now. Okay, well, you can stop and defend that province, and you can attack, and you can attack. You can go that way, you go that way, and you can come down there. Okay, now here, let's grab those two, and let's add the SS unit to that. They're good street fighters. We want a, let's see here, what do, okay, they got some medium artillery, so let's give them some medium artillery. One of these, yeah, let's, okay, that headquarters, we also get the engineers. I should have thought of that before. There we go. Okay, that one and that one. That should be a pretty decent fortress busting unit. May not be perfect. The best guide is still, there is a guide for dummies, as well as Oh My God's YouTube channel. He doesn't do anything new there. Oh, actually, hold up. We can also add, we'll add that heavy artillery to it too. If we have a slot for it. There we go. There we go. And we got heavy artillery, railway, and medium, and some infantry, and Kampfgruppe. It's a bit dated, yeah, but I think they're pretty good still. you the right concepts going. It's looking good at the moment. I don't know if it's going to work. Transferring out all their air to somewhere else. Look at that go. That's coming from Leningrad. Look at these huge decks. 62. How many that is? I don't want to. 69, 7, 6. Another, what, 30 plus. They realize their bases are threatened, so they're going somewhere else. I will put you in charge of it by attacking as well. These proletariat divisions have spawned in here, I do believe, as well as the Leningrad garrison divisions, as well as that stuff, so I don't know. You can cheat it out, but I would prefer not to. New battle commander has entered the field. Great. We can decide not to, but yeah, I'll take him. Okay, form the Amt für Wehrmacht Propaganda. Okay, since December 39, the FT Lungfer was formerly subordinate to the OKW and received direct orders from General Oberst Alfred Jodl, chief of the Wehrmacht Verteidigungsamt. Gradually, the WPR gained more independence and relevance. Consequently, the division was formed into the Office of Army Propaganda. By the end of 42 propaganda units of the Wehrmacht comprised 15,000 men, equaling the total strength of a division. Consisted of 21 Heer, B, Luftwaffe, Kriegsmarine propaganda units. Were occupied. Yeah, I'm sort of mumbling here. Propaganda battalions are outlined as a battalion for special unit for psychological warfare. Okay, cool. Nice. Now we have plenty of fuel, more than enough. Okay, well, these guys have fuel out here. We attack from these directions as well. Save you for him. We can take Guderian out of the mix. Okay, well, right about real soon. Couldn't have got him in there so soon. So let's get him out. Put Schweppenberg in. guys. Attack. 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 And let's save this. Be safe. And we're going to end the episode here. I want to thank you so much for watching. I want to thank you for liking the videos. I really do appreciate that. As well as I even more appreciate is if you talk to me. Tell me something interesting. I don't know. Ask questions, make corrections. I'm sure I'm getting some of the details of history wrong. Again, when I make a mod, I research it as best I can. Yes, often it's things like Wikipedia and it can be wrong. But I also have bookshelves full of books on World War II, and I look things up there and other things. So when I make a mod and I have time to research, so when you see me reading my stuff, I'm also reading Revolverhelds and Alexis and General Black Ice contributions to events as well. When I'm reading all of that, that's pretty solid history. When I'm just sort of talking here, it's my recollections of what I've read, watched, seen, done, whatever, you know. So it's not solid history. And if I'm getting stuff wrong, numbers, dates, other details, please post corrections for people to can have, you know, to look things up and get better. And if you're coming along a little bit later, you should look at the comment sections, because there's a lot of good comments down there. Some of them are sort of corrections or additional information. Some of them are people asking for clarification on some of the stuff I say, whether gameplay or other stuff. So you very well may get benefit from reading those sections as well. I try to answer just about every comment, so do that as well. So see you next time for more Hearts of Iron.